Captain Edward John Smith, 1850 to 1912, celebrated as the millionaire's captain, was one of Britain's most trusted seafarers after 40 years at sea. The Titanic was his last command, and he remained at the bridge until the ship's end. Actor Bernard Hill's portrayal highlights Smith's composed authority, embodying both his reputation and his tragic final duty. Noelle Leslie, Countess of Rothes, 1878 to 1956, was a distinguished aristocrat admired for her charity and grace. On Titanic, she actively rowed lifeboat aid and even steered under Quartermaster Thomas Jones's praise. Rochelle Rose plays her with quiet determination, portraying the Countess's hands-on courage, resilience, and leadership that made her one of the disaster's most remarkable survivors. Margaret Molly Brown, 1867 to 1932, American socialite known for her fortune and philanthropy, became immortalized as the unsinkable Molly Brown after Titanic. She demanded discipline aboard Lifeboat 6 and organized survivor relief afterward. Kathy Bates brings her fiery strength to life, embodying Brown's outspoken defiance and tireless compassion that turned her into one of Titanic's enduring legends. Jack Thayer, 1894 to 1945, a 17-year-old first-class passenger, became separated from his parents during the sinking. He jumped into the sea, clung to collapsible B, and later transferred to Lifeboat 12 at dawn. Surviving the tragedy, he wrote a detailed account later used by historians, leaving an invaluable testimony of Titanic's final hours. Joseph Bruce Ismay, 1862 to 1937, powerful chairman of the White Star Line, earned wealth and influence, but later infamy as the coward of the Atlantic after surviving Titanic. He had assisted passengers into boats before stepping into a collapsible. Jonathan Hyde's performance reflects Ismay's anxiety, capturing the haunting backlash and public scorn that overshadowed the rest of his life. Ida Strauss, 1849 to 1912, wife of department store magnate Isidor Straus, was admired for her loyalty and devotion. Refusing a lifeboat seat, she chose to remain with her husband, and both perished together. Elsa Raven portrays her tenderly, honoring the couple's shared decision, a story that remains one of Titanic's most touching and unforgettable acts of love. John Jacob Astor IV, 1864 to 1912, America's wealthiest man, was a famed tycoon, inventor, and builder of grand hotels. On Titanic, he secured his pregnant wife's safety before perishing in the disaster. Actor Eric Braeden portrays him with calm dignity, reflecting both his devotion as a husband and his immense wealth as one of history's richest victims. William Howard Taft, 1857 to 1930, the 27th president, served from 1909 to 1913. A skilled administrator, he preferred law to politics and later became Chief Justice, the only man to hold both offices. Gentle yet firm, he valued fairness. Taft died in 1930 at 72, leaving a legacy of justice and service. Madeline Astor, 1893 to 1940, teenage bride of America's richest tycoon, boarded Titanic while 5 months pregnant. Rescued in Lifeboat 4, she later gave birth to John Jacob Astor VI. Charlotte Chatton portrays her alongside her husband, emphasizing her survival and youth, while underscoring the tragic women and children first policy that tore apart the couple's gilded world. Thomas Andrews, 1873 to 1912, managing director of Harland & Wolff and Titanic's designer, was respected for his engineering skill and modest character. After the collision, he urged passengers towards safety and distributed life jackets. He died, last seen in the smoking room. Victor Garber captures his calm resignation, embodying a man who understood the ship's fate more clearly than anyone. Lucille, Lady Duff Gordon, 1863 to 1935, one of Britain's most celebrated fashion designers, was already internationally famous when she boarded Titanic. Escaping with her husband in Lifeboat 1, she faced criticism for its empty seats but was cleared by inquiry. Rosalind Ayres portrays her on-screen, capturing both her elegance and the enduring controversy tied to her survival. Wallace Hartley, 1878 to 1912, renowned bandleader, led Titanic's 8-man orchestra as passengers evacuated, their music offering comfort amid despair. Hartley perished, though his body was later returned to England for a hero's funeral. Jonathan Evans-Jones portrays him with haunting realism, recreating the band's famous final performance that became one of the ship's most lasting legends. John Jack Phillips, 1887 to 1912, Titanic's senior wireless operator, was vital in maritime communication history. He sent urgent CQD and SOS signals until power failed, later reaching collapsible B but dying of exposure. Gregory Cook portrays him steadfast at the telegraph, reflecting Phillips's dedication that survivors remembered as one of the voyage's last heroic acts. Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon, 1862 to 1931, wealthy Scottish landowner and fencing champion, boarded Titanic with his famous designer wife. They escaped in Lifeboat 1, which carried few passengers, sparking criticism that they discouraged rescue. Cleared by inquiry, he survived. Martin Jarvis portrays him amid the controversy, echoing the lingering debate that followed their arrival in New York. Charles Lightoller, 1874 to 1952, Titanic's second officer, was the most senior officer to survive and later shaped official records. He enforced women and children-only rules on the port side and clung to collapsible B through the night. Johnny Phillips portrays him as stern and disciplined, embodying Lightoller's strict adherence to duty and remarkable endurance that defined his legacy after the sinking. Benjamin Guggenheim, 1865 to 1912, millionaire industrialist and heir to a mining fortune, became legendary for his gallantry. After securing safety for his mistress and maid, he dressed in evening clothes. Frederick Fleet, 1887 to 1965, lookout in Titanic's crow's nest, made history with his fateful cry, "Iceberg, right ahead." Denied binoculars, he relied only on sharp eyesight that dark, clear night. He survived in Lifeboat 6. On screen, he is shown at the crucial moment of sighting, capturing the seconds before the ship's doomed evasive turn. Robert Hickens, 1882 to 1940, Titanic's quartermaster, was at the wheel during the collision with the iceberg. Later coxswain of Lifeboat 6, he clashed with passengers by refusing to turn back for survivors. Though he lived, he remained controversial. In the film, Paul Brightwell portrays him stubborn and argumentative, embodying the Rose DeWitt Bukater, the fictional first-class passenger of Titanic, embodies the spirit of independence and resilience amid tragedy. Engaged to the wealthy Cal Hockley, she found courage and love through Jack Dawson as the ship met its fate. Portrayed by Kate Winslet and Gloria Stewart, Rose symbolizes freedom, survival, and the enduring human will to live beyond loss. Thank you for joining us. Though these Titanic figures lived more than a century ago, their courage, choices, and fates remain etched in history. Their stories reflect duty, sacrifice, and the human spirit in the face of tragedy. Which passenger moves you most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so their memory lives on.